I got the deluxe edition that has the new game plus mode and everything, which I didn't do for that reason, for the record. So I probably wouldn't have, honestly, had I known about the new game plus thing, because locking off that feature is kind of bull. Although I still okay, I'm gonna make a case for it, but I don't think it's good. Okay, I think it's bad. I don't think you should be charging for new game plus. I become the meme. I get full-blown doomer, like two baggy eyes and everything, whenever I think about the completion rates of most modern AAA video games, because in relation to how many games sell and are booted up at least once, because otherwise that person has no achievements, so it's like they don't really get tracked. A high completion rate for a game like The Last of Us is like 30% or something like that. Like, it's like, you wait, 70% of the people who play these mostly story-based games aren't even finishing the story? Like, not, I mean, I figure that, like, if you're gonna give up on a game that is primarily narrative, just drop it down to the easiest difficulty and fire your way through it, right? Like, isn't that the move? Or is, because I mean, the way I would see it is that the only reason you would stop playing wholesale in a story-based game is if you do not like the story. But I mean, things like The Last of Us are still lauded as like one of the best video game stories ever, or like blah blah blah. I mean, you could make some arguments for or against that, but a lot of people hold that opinion. A lot of normies hold that opinion. And the idea that, let's say 60% of those people, because I'm assuming in the 70 there's some hardcore gamers who just played it, didn't like it, so they never finished it. Right, like, because I mean, some people will just be like, this game isn't what I'm looking for in a video game. It doesn't play well. Get out. But the people giving up who for the story, I'm just like, wait, so like 70% don't know how that game ends unless they just watched it on YouTube later. Mind blowing to me, and it makes me think that maybe New Game Plus is a good thing to charge for, because if these many people, if it's only 30% of the audience that even gets to the end of the game, you're looking at like the 10%, 50% of those not wanting to play New Game Plus at least. And I think 50 is really being charitable towards the people playing New Game Plus. Especially in a game like this, in a game this big, a JRPG. How many people do you know who have played one JRPG more than once, which isn't like Final Fantasy VII or one which a lot of people have played? Because I have, but I'm also, you know, a weirdo. Like, I'm a video game weirdo guy. I'm not your typical consumer. I am aware of that. But does anyone do that aside from saying like, hey, I haven't played Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy VI in a few years, I'd like to play through it again? Like, is anyone firing up a New Game Plus right away in Yakuza? Because I feel like that's probably a pretty small percentage of the actual players who will feel legitimately hard done by not having New Game Plus in a game like this. The reason I still say that I don't support it, and will probably never support it, is because that sets an incredibly bad precedent. Because it will start making it so that anyone who legitimately wants to get their money's worth out of the game will be required to spend an extra $10 just going forward in all games. If New Game Plus becomes a feature that is widely accepted to be a $10 upgrade to the game you already own, that is a nightmare world that I want no part in. However, when you break down the percentages, the math, and how much more money they're actually charging, it's not it makes a degree of sense, you know? So I don't know. I'm of two minds on it. At the same time, like, I bought the most expensive version of this game mostly because of these. Those two there. I will buy them on Steam, but I was already playing them on Game Pass, and I do like getting my money's worth out of Game Pass, so, you know, not rushing out and buying full price versions of games that I like is still an economically sound decision for me to make. So I'll probably buy these two games on Steam. I'll just get them when they're on sale, like, you know, when I can get them for a really good price. However, I do like this franchise. I hope they make more games in it. I like them doing weird, cool spin-offs where they're, you know, they're samurais in Edo, Japan. Make more of that. I want more of the things that weren't brought to the West localized, and more of the ones that are stuck on like PS3, you know, cleaned up a bit, or like given the Kiwami treatment maybe at some point.